Most QA engineers are using AI completely wrong. They ask ChatGPT to generate automation tests, and the result is usually broken code, flaky selectors, or scripts that don't even run. But here is the interesting part. When you change just one thing, the way you write the prompt, AI can start generating surprisingly good automation code. So in this video, I will show you a simple prompt engineering framework and we will test it with real Playwright example to see if it actually works. Let's start with what most testers usually do. They open ChatGPT and type something like write Playwright automation for login. Seems reasonable, right? But when AI generates the code, problems start appearing. Selectors might be wrong, there are no proper weights, sometimes there are no assertions, and often the code does not allow the structure of a real automation framework. So the test either fail or becomes flaky. And many testers conclude AI is not useful for automation testing. But the real issue is something else. The problem is the prompt itself. AI works best when it has clear context and instructions. If the prompt is vague, the output will also be vague. But when the prompt includes structure, constraints, and context, the quality of generated code improves dramatically. So instead of asking AI random questions, we should use a structured prompt format. And for QA engineers, there is simple framework that works really well. I call this the packed prompt framework. Packed stands for project context, automation framework, code constraints, test scenario. If you include these four things in your prompt, AI becomes much more capable of generating useful automation code. Let's go through each part. Project context. First, give the AI project context. Tell it what kind of application you are testing. For example, is it an e-commerce website, a banking system? You can also describe the elements on the page. For example, the login page contains an email field, a password field, and a login button. When AI understands the application context, it can generate more realistic automation scripts. The second step is specifying the automation framework. This tells AI how the code should be structured. For example, use Playwright with TypeScript, follow the page object model pattern, use the Playwright test runner. Without this information, AI might generate code in the wrong language or with the wrong structure. Providing the framework ensures the generated code fits closer to your actual automation project. Third part is the code constraints. This is where you define the coding rules that the AI should follow. For example, use stable selectors, include assertions, add weights where necessary, follow clean and readable code practices. These constraints guide the AI to produce code that is close to real automation tests. Finally, we define the test scenario. Describe the exact test flow you want to automate. For example, open the login page, enter the email, enter the password, and click the login button. And in the end, verify that the dashboard page loads. By clearly defining the steps and expected result, AI understands exactly what behavior needs to be automated. Before we move to the demo, quick question. Have you ever tried generating code with the AI and the test completely failed when you ran it? If yes, you are definitely not alone. Let's now try this structured prompt to see what happens. I used a prompt that includes the project context, the automation framework, the code constraints, and the test scenario. I will now submit this prompt, and here is the code generated by the AI. So it looks like a reasonable automation test, but the real question is, will it run? Now I'm copying this code into my Playwright project, and let's run the test. I'm executing the Playwright test command, and the test failed. It says that the locator resolved to two elements instead of one. So the selector generated by AI was not specific enough. And this is actually a very common issue when generating automation code with AI. Sometimes the selectors work perfectly and sometimes they need a small adjustment. Update the locator to make it more specific. I will use first with it. So it will click the first one. Now that the selector is fixed, let's run the test again. And now the test runs successfully. So this shows something very important. AI can generate a strong starting point for automation tests, but testers still need to review and refine the code. So think of AI as a coding assistant for testers, not a replacement. It can generate large parts of automation code quickly, but your testing knowledge is still essential for debugging and improving the script. And the quality of the generated code improves significantly when your prompts are structured properly. So remember the simple framework for your prompt engineering in QA. Always include project context, automation framework, code constraints, and the test scenario. Using this structure dramatically improve the quality of AI generated automation scripts. If you are a QA engineer learning how to use AI for automation testing, subscribe to the channel. I share practical tutorials on AI in testing, Playwright, and modern automation frameworks. Thanks for watching the video.